Next, we'll talk about the Columbus News Index. We will learn how to use the Columbus News Index to locate both articles and obituaries, and we will discuss the scope and limitations of the index. On the research page, select either of the links to the Columbus News Index. They both go to the same place. Please take a look at the description of the index below about this collection. The index was not intended to be complete. Only news from Franklin County and the contiguous counties was included. Notice that the index contains abstracts only. There is no full text. The abstracts are descriptions that were written by indexers. The descriptions are not usually the same as the headlines. Notice the dates of coverage. Articles were indexed between 1960 and 1997, and obituaries were indexed between 1931 and 1997. Finally, note that users may request full text of articles either by calling the library or by submitting an online request form. Staff members working with customers, however, should use the article request form, which we will go over a bit later in our training. Beneath the description are some links for options to search only for deaths and obituaries or for birth announcements. Here is a page from the print version of the 1982 index, one of the earliest volumes to be completed. Not all of these newspapers were covered for the entire range of the index. The Columbus Dispatch was consistently included, but other papers varied. The editors changed over time too, and editorial decisions limited the scope further. Here is the editorial scope of the 1982 index. Notice what was indexed and what was not. Here is the editorial scope of the 1960 index, which was completed retrospectively much later. If you study the differences, you can see important changes. For example, sometimes death notices were indexed instead of obituaries, and editorials were sometimes included and sometimes not. You'll see other changes as well. In addition, some data has been lost, especially in the 1980s. Fortunately, the print indexes still exist at the main library. Please ask either the Adult Services Division or the Local History and Genealogy Division to check the print volumes when a search fails to get expected results. Remember, too, that Local History and Genealogy can always look for an obituary when the date of death is known. Lastly, be aware that some errors occurred in the index when subject headings were merged, for example, homicides and murders, causing some subject headings to be assigned erroneously to articles. Let's take a look at the index now, and let's start with an obituary search. Here I'm searching for the name Reynold Williams. This is what the search result looks like. The citation provides the date, the publication, and the page, and the subjects assigned are the obituaries that were indexed that date, including Mr. Williams. Click on the abstract to see the full entry for the article, including the byline. Now let's search the full index and try the same search. To remove a selection from my search, all I have to do is click the X next to the search term to delete it, and the results will reload. Now there are 11 results. These are news articles plus the obituary. To limit my results, I can use the options to narrow on the left, or I can add terms to my original search at the top of the page. For example, I could add another name. Here I've added the name Tanachi Ward in order to limit my results further to just those articles about both Mr. Williams and a person who was questioned in the case. I've returned here to the front page of the index. Advanced Search is accessible from this page to the right of the search box. With advanced search, I can limit my search terms to a particular field. For example, I could search by subject or by publication. I can also add fields in order to do some combined searching. Say, for example, I know both the subject and the byline. Here is how I would search for articles about an armored car that was written by a writer named Stevens. One last quick tip about a symbol you will sometimes see in the results. An asterisk, as you see here, indicates an illustration or a graphic of some sort. Try a few searches on your own. If you don't know the subject heading, try a few keywords. Here are some possibilities. Find articles about the Palm Sunday tornadoes in April of 1965. Discover what happened to Bliss College. Or answer the question, when was Billy Milligan released? So remember, use the Columbus News Index to locate local articles published between 1960 and 1997, or to locate obituaries published between 1931 and 1997. Keep in mind that coverage is incomplete. Remember that no full text is available, only citations, and use the article request form to obtain full articles or obituaries.